Hi and welcome to our channel. In today's video, we are going to dive into the most important Flutter commands that you absolutely need to know to develop your application. If you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. Let's start by creating a new Flutter project using new Flutter project. We are going to name this project After creating the new Flutter project, we go to File and Project Structure. Here you can set your Android version, and inside the modules you can add your Android module. This is sometimes necessary because if you don't add the Android module and the SDK version, you won't see some of the tabs at the bottom, like Logcat and other tabs at the bottom. Now the first command is flutter create dot. So to issue the command, we go to the terminal and we open a terminal window. By default, this is going to open the terminal at the root of your Flutter application. So if we issue ls command, you can see that we have the folders for Android, iOS, Linux. But we don't have the folder for Mac and Windows. In this project folder, you can also see that we have Android, iOS, and Linux. We don't have Mac OS and Windows. And if you want to develop your application for multiple platforms, you need to have these folders as well. Or for example, if you don't have the web folder, you need to have this web folder in order to be able to develop your application for the web. So for this reason, we can use Flutter create, and you add a space and you add dot, and then you enter. Now, if you look at the folders here, we have Mac OS and Windows added to your Flutter project. But keep in mind that this also depends on the version of your Flutter. So if the version is not up to date and it doesn't support some of the platforms, so you won't see some of these platforms. So the Flutter framework needs to be up to date for this to work. And to know the version of your Flutter, you can try flutter -- version. And this gives you the version of your Flutter as well as the channel, because we have the stable channel and we have other channels. The stable channel means that it is the most stable version of the Flutter, and it doesn't have lots of bugs that is available in other channels. You can also see your Dart version as well and DevTools as well. So if you want to know the channel of your Flutter, you can issue Flutter channel. You see that we have master, main, beta, and stable. Stable is the version that is recommended for development. It has less bug than other channels. If you want to change the channel, you can use Flutter channel and space and, for example, beta. When you enter, the channel will be changed. Another command is Flutter doctor. This is going to provide the information about the installed tooling required for Flutter development. It lets you know about your Flutter SDK and whether it is set up correctly with compatible platforms and IDE and devices. And speaking of devices, you can use Flutter devices command to see all the connected devices that are available to your Flutter project. And if you want to upgrade your Flutter, you can issue the command flutter upgrade. This command updates the copy of Flutter SDK and also Dart SDK on your machine. And you can also downgrade using Flutter downgrade command. This command downgrades the copy of Flutter SDK and Dart SDK to the previously available active version. Another command is Flutter emulators. This command lists all the emulators currently installed on your machine and gives you the option to launch the emulator or create a new emulator. It doesn't give you the list of emulators that are currently running, but it gives you the list of emulators that are installed on your device. And it gives you some help or guidance to run an emulator. You can run Flutter emulators --launch and the name or ID of the emulator. And if you want to create a new emulator, you can run Flutter emulators --create and you can provide a name for the emulator. Let's move to the pubspec.yaml file. You know that this file contains all the packages that are necessary for our applications to run. For example, if you want to access the clipboard of the device, you can use the clipboard package. If you want to access the files and deal with the address and location or path of the files, you can use a package for that purpose. So here we have some commands related to this pubspec.yaml. One is to run this pubspec.yaml and it's going to get all the packages from the web and it's going to integrate them into your project. You can either click pubget or you can issue the command flutter pubget and it's going to get all the packages for you. Another command is flutter pub update. This command will update the Flutter packages used in the current project. Another useful and handy command is flutter pub add and the name of the package. For example, Firebase_core. Usually, if you want to add the Firebase_core, you need to search for the package and you need to go to pub.dev and you need to go to install and you need to copy this line and you need to add it to your pubspec.yaml. And then you can click pubget or issue the command flutter pubget to get the package and add it to your project. But using this command flutter pub add and the package name, the Android Studio is going to get the latest version of the package and add it to the pubspec.yaml file automatically. And it's going to add the package and integrate it into your application. Another command that is very useful is flutter clean. Your project has a very large project size with built cache and so on. So it is better to clear cache while transferring, or you can use clear cache if the latest configurations is not taking place. If you have changed some configuration in your project and after that you get an error, it's a good idea to do flutter clean. And using this command, the cache and temporary files are going to be cleared. Another useful way to clear the cache is by going to File and Invalidate Caches. And then you click on Invalidate and Restart. This is going to remove cache and indexes for all projects. And it's going to create new caches and reopen the project. If you change the configurations so many times, this is a good idea to clean the caches of the project and let the Android Studio create new cache based on new configurations. Another command is when you want to create or run your application. So you can use the command flutter build apk to create the apk file for your project and specifically for your Android. But this command has many options. This command is to build the Flutter application in the directory we want, and if you don't assign the directory, then it will build inside the build folder. We can build web app using flutter build web command. You can build Android app using flutter build apk or flutter build app bundle. And iOS, you can use flutter build iOS. You can also specify some parameters, for example, -debug or --release. But when you issue the flutter build command, is going to only build the output file, for example, apk file. But if you want to run the application, you can use flutter run. This is going to compile your code and actually runs the file and application, for example, in the emulator or on your device that is connected to the Android Studio. So these were some of the useful commands that you need to know inside the Flutter application. I hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.